Happy Sunday, y'all. So, hi. Hello. So, I am on spiritual hiatus, but when Spirit calls you to give a message, you come out of spiritual hiatus and give the message that Spirit is asking you to give. Hello. So, welcome to my new place. Look at Archangel Michael looking badass in the background. Yeah, look at him. He's so cute. I love him. Guys, I gotta show you some of this. This stuff is so cute. Look at Archangel Metatron looking all badass. Look at him with his Metatron cube. He's so cute. Oh. And look at this. This is Archangel Gabriel. Look at him. Look how badass he looks. He's like, I'm ready for these messages. I'm ready. Archangel Uriel broke, so I'm waiting for a replacement. But I think Archangel Raphael got the most badass, makeover ever. Look at him. Look at his staff. Staff of healing. Look at the staff of Moses. That's the staff he gave Moses to free the people from Egypt. Isn't that awesome? He's a badass. Anyway. Just gonna let them back there. Just wanted to share that with y'all. Anyway. Welcome to my new space. This is my temple. You're gonna see me here a lot more. My new temple. But I wanted to come on because even though I am on spiritual hiatus, the archangels and the mysteries of light my mysteries are in the other room because, I work with certain mysteries that don't like being on camera, but the archangels, they love camera time. They love it. Look at him. Anyway. So I wanted to kind of make the beginning of this video a little bit light because it might be a little heavy. But the archangels woke me up this morning and they were like, go to work. You don't have to leave your spiritual hiatus, but just go do some work in your temple, organize things around and things like that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. Because I'm a Sagittarius. And as a fire sign, I can't sit at home. Because if I sit at home, I get anxiety. And I start just doing way too much. So, and I like myself. I love being by myself. I don't mind myself. But sometimes you can get enough of yourself. You know what I mean? So anyway, and I think my wife is getting enough of me today too. So we were like, let's go do something at the studio. So anyway, let's get to work. Let's get to the message. I know that there's a lot of people that are having a really hard time right now. And I'm speaking to a lot of people whom have either lost a loved one or who have lost their business during this time. And I can tell you, I know what it feels like to work on something so hard and for so long, and to feel like it's being taken away from you. And you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. You don't know how to feel. And, we're kind of facing this big thing right now where we're trying to decide, what's more important, like our lives or our livelihood. And it's sad that we live in a world that we have to think that way. And it's a very hard time right now for a lot of people. And the angels just wanted you guys to know that things are going to be okay. I know it doesn't feel like that right now, but things are going to be okay. And I know there's a lot of people who feel like, can you guys hear me? I don't know why my screen went black. Can you hear me? There's a lot of people who feel like they're in a boat that's sinking. Like they're in a boat that keeps getting holes, right? Like they're in a boat that is like, they patch up one hole and then another hole opens up, right? And a lot of us feel like that right now. Like we're trying to get water out of a boat and trying not to sink. Especially those of us who have small businesses. And it can be a little hard sometimes when we are facing those things to hear that things are going to be okay. I know that there are times when Spirit has shown me things that I have said to them, like, how is that going to happen? How is that going to even happen? Like, how is little old me going to reach such a goal or reach such a dream? And the thing that I want to remind you guys of is that anything that Spirit shows you has already happened. They're just reminding you that it's already happened. It's already in the spiritual realm. It's just waiting to be born in the material realm. So if you feel like you're sinking right now, understand that God has already patched that boat. God has already patched that boat. God may not have patched that boat right now. God may not have patched that boat tomorrow, but God has already patched that boat somewhere in the future, because God has already shown you the path. God has already shown you the vision. And if you have the vision, if you have the faith in that vision, and if you speak that vision into existence, I know that that's not maybe what a lot of people want to hear right now, but you can speak your reality into existence. Okay? You can. And what you speak becomes. Okay? I said to God this morning, I was like, how am I supposed to do this? Like, how am I supposed to do this when I don't have the capital, when I don't have this, when I don't have that, when I don't have that? And Spirit was like, you have us, you have your health, you have your hands, you have your wife that helps you, you have your assistant that helps you. You have so much. And he was saying, Archangel Michael, amongst many of my other mysteries that were kind of sitting around me in a circle, going, like, get up and stop whining and understand that if we have given you the vision, it is not a vision that we created. It is a vision that you created. We assisted you in, and it already exists. All you need to do is do the material work, do the speaking it into existence, and have the faith. And I was like, well, when do you just get to a point where, like, you just give up, right? And Spirit said to me, you have to decide whether to give up or whether to keep going by asking yourself one question. How much does this matter to you? How much does your mission matter to you? How much is it worth it to you? How much do you value that boat? How much do you value what that boat can bring into your life, right? Using that boat as a metaphor for our businesses or our families or whatever. How much does it matter to you? Does it matter to you a little bit? Does it matter to you a lot bit? Does it matter to you a whole lot? Because the amount of how much it matters to you determines the amount of faith that it's required to make it happen. It determines the amount of faith and the hard work and the perseverance that it requires to make it happen. Okay? Archangel Michael showed me a vision this morning of, if you guys have ever seen any movies with, like, warriors with swords and shields on the battlefield, right? And when they have fought and they have swung that sword so many times, and they finally they get out of breath, and they kind of, like, stick their sword in the ground, and they are down on one knee, and they're just taking that breath, like, and then everybody else is fighting around them, right? Everybody else is fighting around them. And Archangel Michael showed me that vision of the angels fighting, the spirits of light fighting around me as I took that step, as I took that knee to take a breath. Because I literally said to my wife, I feel like I am fighting against everything. Because I am a light worker, and we do get fights from every angle. And I was like, I feel like I'm fighting on a battlefield in the 1300s with my sword and my shield, and I'm on my knees begging God to make it through this battlefield to the other side, to be able to see my family again. And we are all fighting that battle right now. There is a massive battle between good and evil. And it happens every day. It has happened for millennia, and it has happened before we were even thought of being born. And it will happen probably after we are born, after we are dead. Why? Because evil and good are balancers. And one cannot exist without the other, right? There's always an adversary. And God created both. That's the thing, is that we don't realize, is that God created Archangel Michael, but God also created Lucifer. You have to remember that the lessons that God gives you through Lucifer are the things that are going to grow you. Okay? So those things that you have to fight and that you have to battle against evil, those are the things that are going to grow you. Okay? Those are the things that are going to make you strong enough to get on that battlefield every single day. Every single day. And your guides have to test you too. Your guides have to test you, because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And so many of us have just forgotten. That's it. What awakening is remembering. Awakening is just remembering. Remembering that you can speak things into existence. Remembering that you, with the amount of faith that you have and the amount of work that you put into something, it grows. We can't see a seed growing when it's underground, but it's still growing, right? So we go through all winter and all of the trees are barren. There's no leaves on the trees, and all of the flowers underground are dead, and or so we see, or so we perceive. We don't realize that they are simply frozen in time, and that they are yet to be reborn. And that just like we have the ability to connect with Source, that we have the ability to connect with God and the Goddess, so do these trees, so do the plants, so does every rock and every creature on earth. But the thing that is different from us to the rocks and the creatures is that they don't have a developed mind. I think sometimes the fact that we are the most advanced brains in the animal kingdom actually is a disservice, because we overthink our innate intuition. A cat knows what to do. A tree knows what to do. A tree innately knows, I search for light, I search for water. Okay? A human asks why. But a tree just says, I search for water, I search for light. And the tree knows if it searches for the light, if it searches for the water, those things are good and it will grow. A tree knows that. But a human asks why and how and when and what. And the tree just asks, where is the water? Where is the sunlight? That's it. That's all that the tree cares about. Because it knows that those things are good for it. And those things help it grow. And the why and the how and the when and the what ifs is what makes us, in my opinion, actually less evolved than creatures of the world, than the rocks and the trees and the sky and the sun and the planets. Because the planets and the sun and the stars and the rocks, the crystals, the trees, they know what to do. The animals, they know what to do innately because they follow their intuition. They follow their intuition. A dolphin knows where it needs to go because it follows its radar. It follows its intuition. A shark knows where to go because it smells blood. It follows its intuition. It follows its innate intuition that God has given it. And if you want to get over these hurdles, we have to continue following that intuition and stop asking how or what or when or why. And just know it is what it is. It will be what it needs to be because it is already, it already is in existence. It has already been created. If it's in your mind, it is already something. You just have to move by the faith that it is already there. It's already created. Why is such a distraction? And I can tell you this because as a Sagittarius, the sign of Sagittarius is one who is an adventurer and who tends to be the one to ask the how and the why. It tends to be the one that, where Aries, other fire signs, Aries starts fights and starts the fire. Leo kind of keeps it going, right? Sagittarius is that ember that is starting to burn out, and it starts to ask why. Why did I start this fire to begin with? How did this fire start? Okay? And I think sometimes we are so caught up in philosophy and in the why and in the understanding and in the science of things that we kill its magic. We really do. Just because we know how an egg and a sperm come together to create life doesn't make it any less magical. Doesn't make it any less miraculous. So why are we trying to eliminate the magic from the world with our doubts, with our lack of faith, with our lack of vision? Why? I was reading an excerpt from the Emerald Tablet by Hermes the other night. And if y'all know what the Emerald Tablet is, it talks about the hermetic principles of magic, right? And it's written in code, and millions of people have tried to decipher this tablet, the Emerald Tablet. And many have failed because they have lacked the vision, because the tablet was written in a code that can only be understood if you have faith and believe in that practice. If you have faith and believe in those beings, then those beings will help you decipher the tablet. And a lot of scientists have had to turn spiritual, have had to turn into magicians to understand the Emerald Tablet, to understand what it is that the Emerald Tablet is talking about, and the secret of life that is described in the hermetic principles of the Emerald Tablet. And it's funny to me that speaking things into existence and magic are seen as something unreal because we can't see it, right? Yet many of us don't know why an egg boils to be hard, or we know the scientific aspect of it, but is it any less miraculous that we can use the elements to transform one thing into another? And it's funny to me that the more that scientists try to discredit magic and try to discredit the law of attraction and try to discredit the hermetic principles that were on the emerald tablet and try to discredit prayer and try to discredit miracles, the more that they end up actually proving that they exist. Did you know that the soul has a weight? The soul has a scientific weight. They actually were trying to prove that the soul was all made up, that it was something in the brain. And they have buried these articles. And they have weighed bodies before death and after death. And they have found that there is actually a weight difference when a soul leaves the body of a person. So the fact that speaking into existence and having faith seems to be something that seems to elude people is really funny to me. Exactly. Good point. When you're hungry, your thoughts alone, right? Your thoughts alone can cause you're looking at somebody making food, right? All of a sudden you're hungry, your body, you are not making food, you're not smelling it, you're just watching somebody do it. Your body starts to produce saliva, it starts to produce insulin to break down the food, it starts to produce digestive enzymes. It starts to produce all these things. The body itself is such a magical machine. It has the ability to repair itself. You know, I tried this. I actually cut myself by accident the other day. I was doing something and I cut myself, and I actually put my hand over the part where I cut myself. It was actually on my nose. You can't see it. So I put my hand over it, and I actually willed it to heal faster. Within a few hours, it already started to heal. Okay? So our bodies are such magical, amazing things. And you have to remember, what you ingest, you will produce into the world. If you watch the media that tells you, oh my God, everybody should be, freaking out and things, the whole world is burning down. That is what your magical machine is absorbing. The magical machine that speaks things into existence is absorbing. Even when you say something joking, you're speaking it into existence. It was pretty good. The vegan taco meat I made was pretty good. When you speak things into existence, and even when you're joking around, even when you are joking around, it can happen. Did you guys know that people like Nipsey Hussle predicted his death? He predicted his death. He knew exactly how he was going to be murdered because he had already seen it, because God had already shown him the way. When Jesus went to the park with his disciples on his last night before Judas betrayed him, he had already seen Judas betrayed him. He had already seen himself hanging on the cross because God had already shown him. So it had already happened. So it was just a matter of time before it happened. So when you speak things into the world, you are either creating or destroying something. Now, everybody used to make fun of Michael Jackson for wearing a mask and gloves. Remember that? And now look at all of us wearing masks and gloves. Because they had already seen it. Michael Jackson was a major germaphobe because he believed that there was a huge pandemic that was going to hurt a lot of people. And so he started wearing a mask and gloves, and everybody made fun of him for it. But look at where we are now. So everything in the world, why do prayers in the Bible work? Because people have spoken them into existence. When David faced Goliath, David said, "Through the valley of the shadow of death, you shall follow me, you shall comfort me." And David was able to take down Goliath. So we have to remember, like, the Bible is not all these religious texts, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Hermetic principles, the Emerald Tablet, the Rosetta Stone, all of these amazing writings, they are not exactly literal, they are figurative, they are visionary. And they are visions. And remember, just like a vision can be given to you by God, the vision can also be given to you by the evil side. This is why you need to trust your God-given intuition and your discernment to know where that vision is coming from. So God shows you a vision of you succeeding, of you having the business of your dreams, of you being able to feed people, being able to feed a team of people that work for you, being able to feed your families, being able to feed all these people, being able to help all these people, right? So God gives you that vision. And then today, because of what's going on right now, the devil gives you the vision of ruin. Which vision do you believe? Which vision do you believe? Do you believe the vision that God originally gave you? The vision that God told you, have faith in me and do as I say and trust me, this will come to be. Or will you have the belief in the vision that now Lucifer is showing you? Because it all comes around, the same thing happened in the Bible. There were apostles that believed the vision that Jesus gave, that was given from God. The belief that the kingdom of God is within your heart and that the kingdom of God can only be reached by how you are as a person in here. And then there were people that believed that God should be feared and that were told by the devil that God was a monster and that God should be feared and that God was merciless. And then there were apostles that believed that vision and that thought that only by controlling people and separating families and only by making people follow a certain vision, they could actually achieve paradise. And that believed that greed could buy you a place in heaven. So which vision do you follow? The one that God gives you, that tells you this is my kingdom and my kingdom is in your heart? Or the vision that tells you that you have to suffer and that you have to be greedy and that you have to control others and that you have to destroy others in order to attain greatness? That is the vision of Lucifer. That is the vision. And I'm not here to preach to you. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a preacher. I am a vessel of God in whatever God allows me to be that vessel. I'm here to wake you up and to tell you to trust your intuition, to stop letting other people and beings of darkness rule your intuition. Because a lot of times people who are around you, they don't see your vision because they were not meant to see your vision. What happened when Jesus said to the apostles, someone will betray me and I will die? Many of them tried to get him to escape, and he said, no, I must stay here. This is what God asked of me. This is what God asked of me. So, and for example, Mary Magdalene was telling me that Jesus never wanted a church to be created. Jesus never wanted the church in the way that it is now to be created. And Peter did not listen to him. Peter did what he wanted to do because Peter wanted things to be his way. So Mary Magdalene went her separate way. Her views and her image was destroyed and turned into a prostitute because she was going against what Peter wanted her to do, because Peter wanted whatever Peter wanted to have. If you notice the relationship between Peter and Mary Magdalene, if you read the Bible, if you read the Mary Magdalene manuscript, if you pray to Mary Magdalene and ask her to explain things to you, you will see, and even Peter will be honest, I did not understand Jesus's vision fully. Even if you pray to Peter and ask Peter, Saint Peter, why did you choose to start the church? He will tell you that there was a part of that was ego-based. There was a part of him starting a church that was ego-based. Because Jesus preached in nature. He did not agree that you should pay a preacher or a pastor to do prayer for you, that your change of heart was the one that should be the one to make the changes. And Mary Magdalene preached that. And she, to my knowledge, she walked all the way to France, to the south of France, where she finally established some sort of small church. Not really a church in the way that her church was more of like a coven. It was more of like what a witch would call a coven. It was a very like nature-based church garden, from what she shows me and from some of the research that I did after she showed me this. And it was a very small thing, and it was supposed to be not about forcing people to accept Christianity, but about inspiring people to see the vision that Jesus saw. It was about inspiring people to see that God was real and that all you needed was that faith, and to speak it into existence and to pray and to do whatever it is that you felt in your heart and in your intuition that you needed to do to receive that vision. Every candle work that I do, every single candle that I light it in a way that my spirit guides show me to light it, and that my spirit guides show me to make it. That's why I don't just take candle work from anybody. I don't just let people order candle work from me randomly, because when I'm going to do a work for you, you have to understand that I work for spirit, and that I'm doing the work in the way spirit asks me to, and that this is a faith-based practice, and that this is not just I'm going to snap my fingers and make things happen for you. I have to consult my spirit guides and ask them, what do I need to do to assist you in your quest? But there are many people that just think that magic is just about, okay, here it is, make it happen. No. You have to have the understanding, the artistic and scientific understanding, the spiritual and the material understanding of how magic works, of what magic requires. But your magic starts with your words. It starts with what you spell, what you create, what you speak into existence. That's where it starts. It starts in energy. It starts in an emotion. If you feel something as a certain way, you're going to see it show up a certain way in your reality, in this matrix. Because the moment you think of a thought, the moment you voice a thought, the universe starts to play a Rubik's Cube game where it starts to reconfigure itself to fit that which you spoke. So if you said, the sky is red, you might not see it today. You might not see it happen tomorrow. But the universe already heard you. The universe already heard you say that with enough conviction that it starts to morph itself in this game of almost like a Rubik's Cube, and to reconfigure its atoms. And if your belief is strong enough, to fuel that Rubik's Cube game, then it will morph itself to fit what you just said. If your belief is strong enough in it. If you believe and you speak it with enough strength, with enough perseverance, with enough energy behind it, there we go. It will be created. And the more dedicated you are, the more you pray, the more you serve God and his spirits of light, the more powerful your prayer becomes, and the more careful you have to be with what you speak into existence, with what you say. There you go. I didn't say how much you pay somebody. I didn't say how much you dedicate yourself to a human or to a human created religion. How much you serve God and his beings of light and the goddess, and how much you pray and how much faith you have increases your strength and your connections in the spiritual realm. That is the secret. It is your prayer. It is your dedication. It is your unshakable faith that increases your connections in the spiritual realm. It is not money. It is not power. It is not physical human attention. It is not gimmicks. It is not tricks that will get you that power from God. It will be your dedication to your faith and your dedication to prayer and to God above all what humanity says. And your dedication to love and to bring love and light into this world is what will allow you to open those doors, and what will allow you to speak things into existence faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. It may start slower at first, but then it starts going faster and faster and faster. And those who have no vision will not believe in it. Those who are either too asleep or too brainwashed by the evil side will not believe that they can simply have faith in something and it come to be. Or have faith in someone who is working as a medium between God and them. And I always tell people, don't have faith in me, have faith in my spirits. The spirits that I work with are the ones who do all the work. They're the ones who do all the work. So it's about letting go of our ego, remembering to get back to the beginning of what this live was about. Remembering that everything you say creates something in this world. That you have a responsibility to yourself first to allow your vision to come to life. To allow your vision to prosper. Because it's already there. And I know it may seem like it's impossible right now. But if God showed it to you, it's meant to come. It's meant to happen. Think of your vision as, oh man, it already happened in the past. I'm just repeating it again. Like there are many things that Spirit has given me recipes for. There are many things that Spirit has given me ideas for that I'm in the process of creating. But I have to go step by step based on what Spirit is showing me. I have to plug those holes in the boat the way Spirit is asking me to plug those holes, so that I can get from my point A to point Z the way Spirit has showed me that it's required. I believe in magic because I use magic myself. I use the magic and prayers that Spirit has given me myself to better my own life first. And I have done it to better my own life first before I share it with others. Because I have done it and I see it and I believe it because I have seen it. Look how cute he is. Like even that Archangel Michael, like I saw him in my mind and I knew he had to be out there somewhere because I had seen him in my mind. He had shown me getting one of him like that bronze style. So I knew that he existed somewhere that way because he already had shown me that. So you have to trust the visions that your spirit guides are giving you. You have to trust the message that if your spirit guides tell you, get this or do that they are telling you for a reason. Don't ask why. Don't ask how. Just say, okay, what do I do next? What do I do now? And ask yourself, how important is it to you to reach that vision? Because that will determine whether you give up or whether you get up and keep going. Whether you get off your knee in the middle of the battlefield after you've caught your breath and pull your sword back in the air. That will be what determines it. How much does it matter to you? All right, my dear. I have to go. I think I've already given the entire message that Spirit wanted to give today. I hope it helps somebody out there. And I just want to say, sending you all a lot of love, a lot of blessings. I look forward to all of your successes. I know that there's a lot of people who follow me who are business owners. I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I know that you can do it because God has shown you the vision. And because God has shown you the vision, I believe in it as well. All right, guys. Many blessings. Have a beautiful day.